Hello musicians! In this lesson we're going to work on a very famous piece of music called Toreadors song from the opera Carmen. This opera was composed in the late 1800s by the French composer Georges Bizet. The libretto, the words for the opera, were written by Henri Maillac and Ludovic Halaby. It was first performed in Paris on the 3rd of March 1875, where its breaking of conventions shocked and scandalised its first audiences. Carmen is probably one of the most widely known operas to this day and is frequently performed all over the world. Toreador song and habanera are among the best known of all operatic arias. First, a brief synopsis of this tragic tale. It is written in 4 acts and is set in Seville, Spain in 1820. Act 1. A square in Seville. A group of soldiers relax in the square, waiting for the changing of the guard. Michaela appears, seeking Don Jose, but is told that he is not yet on duty, so Michaela will return later. Don Jose arrives with the new guard. As the bell rings, the factory girls emerge and chat with the young men in the crowd. Carmen enters and sings her famous habanera on the untamable nature of love. The men plead with her to choose a husband, and she throws a flower to Don Jose, who until now has ignored her. As the women go back to the factory, Michaela returns and gives Don Jose a letter and a kiss from his mother. He reads that his mother wants him to return home and marry Michaela. Just as Don Jose declares that he is ready to heed his mother's wishes, the women stream from the factory in great agitation. The officer of the guard learns that Carmen has started a fight with another woman. When challenged, she answers with a mocking defiance. Don Jose is ordered to tie her hands while a prison warrant is prepared. Left alone with Jose, Carmen charms him with another song in which she sings of a night of dancing in Lillas Pastia's tavern. Confused yet mesmerised, Don Jose agrees to free her hands, then as she is led away, she pushes her escort to the ground and runs off laughing. Don Jose is arrested for failing his duty. Act 2. Lillas Pastia's Inn. 2 months later, Carmen and her friends are chatting with officers at the inn. Carmen is delighted to learn of Jose's release from 2 months' detention. Outside, a chorus and procession announces the arrival of the Toreador Escamillo. He is invited inside and introduces himself with the Toreador song. He sets his sights on Carmen, who brushes him aside. When only Carmen and her friends remain, 2 smugglers arrive and reveal their plans to dispose of their contraband. Carmen's friends are keen to help them, but Carmen refuses since she wishes to wait for Jose. After the smugglers leave, Jose arrives, but it is not long before he is called away to duty. Carmen mocks him, and he answers by showing her the flower that she threw to him in the square. Carmen is not impressed, and demands he show his love by leaving with her. Jose refuses to desert, but as he prepares to depart, the officer of the guard enters looking for Carmen. He and Don Jose fight, and the smugglers jump in to help by restraining the officer. Now Don Jose has no choice but to join Carmen and the smugglers. Act 3. A wild spot in the mountains. Carmen and Jose enter with the smugglers. Carmen has now become bored with Jose and tells him scornfully that he should go back to his mother. Carmen's 2 friends amuse themselves by reading their fortunes from cards, and Carmen joins them to find that the cards are foretelling her and Jose's death. Michaela enters with a guide, searching for Jose and determined to rescue him from Carmen. On hearing a gunshot, she hides in fear. It is Jose, who has fired at an intruder who turns out to be the Toreador Escamillo from the inn. Don Jose's pleasure at meeting the Toreador soon turns to anger when he declares his infatuation with Carmen. Don Jose and Escamillo begin to fight but are interrupted by the returning smugglers and Carmen's friends. As Escamillo leaves, he invites everyone to his next bullfight in Seville. Michaela is discovered, and at first Don Jose will not leave with her, despite Carmen's mockery, but he agrees to go when told that his mother is dying. As he departs, vowing he will return, Escamillo is heard in the distance singing his Toreador song. The final act, a square in Seville. The officer of the guard and Carmen's friends are among the crowd awaiting the arrival of the bullfighters. The Toreador Escamillo enters with Carmen and they express their mutual love for each other in a song. As Escamillo goes into the arena, Carmen's friends warn her that Don Jose is nearby, but Carmen is unafraid and willing to speak to him. Alone, she is confronted by the desperate Don Jose, who pleads for her to return to him. Carmen claims that he should either kill her or let her go, and throws down a ring that he gave her. Don Jose cannot stand the thought of her leaving and kills her. As Escamillo is celebrated by the crowds, Carmen dies. Don Jose kneels and sings in sadness. As the crowd exits the arena, Don Jose confesses to killing his love. If you would like to watch the operatic rendition of this song, there's a link below the video in the description for you to click. The part of the song that we will be working on starts at 1 minute and 20 seconds into the performance. I highly recommend you check it out. Now let's have a listen to the Toreadors song being played by 3 ukuleles. Follow the score on screen as you listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first part we're going to work on is the chord part. There's one chord here that you may not have come across before, E major. In order to play this chord, you must have a finger on every string. This makes it a movable chord, meaning that when you slide the shape 1 fret higher, you will get the chord that is 1 semitone higher. For example, 1 fret up from E major is F major, and 1 fret up from F major is F sharp major. Up 1 more fret from that, there would be a G major. Compare the sounds to their corresponding shapes that you already know. This piece of music has dynamics printed on the score for you to follow. The dynamics tell us how soft or how loud to play and make the music sound more interesting. If we played everything at the same volume all the time, it would get very boring. When the music appears on screen, listen very closely while following the score, then pause the video with the music still on screen and work on the chord changes until you feel you are ready to play along with the track. The recording of the chord part is slowed down a little to help you get it right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's work on ukulele part 2. Listen to the recording while following the score, then pause the video and take as much time as you need to practice the part. When you feel confident you can play it, go back to the start of the recording of part 2 and play along. This recording is a little slower than the full song, so you can take your time and get it right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, Ukulele Part 1. There's a musical element in this part that you may not have come across before. It happens in bar 4 and again in bar 8 and is called a grace note. Grace note is a type of ornamentation and is written as a very small note with a slash through it. It doesn't add any extra beats to the bar, but adds a nice embellishment to the note. It is not an essential part of the melody or harmony and can be left out if you find it too tricky for now. In order to achieve this grace note, you must pluck the note while your finger is holding fret 1 and then quickly pull your finger off the string. Instead of just lifting your finger off, you must make the motion of actually plucking the string with your fretting hand finger. Now watch the following example. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Listen to the track while following the score on screen. Then pause and take your time to practice the part. When you feel ready, rewind and play along.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now you will hear the recording of all 3 parts being played together again. Get ready to play along with whichever part you've mastered.